All right, let's look at Roje Stona. Wait a second. What he's throwing in Ramona, doesn't he know that that's a bad place to throw and he shouldn't be throwing there? But now, a couple of things. I analyzed some of the stuff from Christoph Kipp. Christoph Kipp is responsible for these biomechanic videos here. And we can see with Stona where a lot of the stuff he does, he has some of the shortest flight phase that you could ever find, and he catches unbelievably deep. So a lot of this stuff that we're going to see today, I think, carries over to what his performance was at the Olympics, and I think that a lot of it helps us see with what Christoph picked up and what we can do to implement further along the lines. And I think his movement pattern, I would argue, is some of the best stuff that we can apply. I think it's similar to Val. I think it's similar to Robert Harding with a reverse. I think it's applicable. It's very applicable. So let's just go back and look at this. And I made that little jab at the beginning because there were so many people that had problems with throwing down in Ramona with the wind and everything, and they would say all these things, and Stona threw this far, there, and blah blah blah, and then this dude goes on, and what does he do? He wins the Olympics. So I think that if you look at this competition in this meet and realize that this dude's the Olympic champ, and the world record was thrown in this comp, and there was 5 other Olympic finalists, it's nothing but absolutely fantastic for the sport. So, and if you think otherwise, I would like to know why. Okay, so now let's look at a couple key points here. Where is he at pickup? Okay, that's his last point of contact right there. Okay, so what's he doing here? I think that right foot starting to turn, starting to get that right hip going this way. Here we can see he's slightly on the mid to pinky toe of his left foot. This is level here. Okay, with that left shoulder slightly down with the right hand at pickup. Okay, and I would be interested to see if Stona is flat-footed. This is usually a pretty classic position with Daniel Stahl, Alekna, similar, where this foot tends to stop early on flat-footed individuals. So here, this is where we see Stona lengthen that right leg. Okay, so I want to see it pick up, boom. Lengthening of the right leg happens probably right here, I would argue. Okay, his hip is right there. His left knee is inside the right sector. And he grounds right on top of where his left hip was, right here. Now, right leg is long. Flight phase comes off right there. Okay, boom. And I'm going to bring this up in a later video, but if we go, this is phase 1. There's basically, from what Kip was saying, there's 5 points of a throw. And I think that the throwing world should start to adopt that, just so that we're in conjunction with research as well. Okay, so left foot's right there as the right grounds. I want to see right here, he's basically like quad, calf, foot, head, all on top. Christoph also says, there's the axis, which would be up and down, but then there's also the axis of what you would get out in the sector here. So I think it's important to try to think of the throw along those lines. So let's go back here. I'm going to analyze right. When that right comes down, boom. Okay, now as his left foot passes, he tends to get a little bit of a high point there, not as steep as Alekna. Left arm looks like a slight delay right there. So his right side's moving and his left side sort of stays. So he goes a slight lead from the left, and then this is where we see a delay from the left right here. Okay, just so we're all clear on this, boom. Then the left foot comes to the front, and you can see I wanted to see here. I think, if I remember correctly, I think his high point is like right there. Whereas Alekna's is a little bit deeper earlier. Based off of the data, I'm pretty sure. Now, what's crazy is that if we look at this, okay, if we zoom in here, I'm going to try and zoom in. It actually seems as though right here, his foot is down. Okay, so if we zoom back out and we look at that and we say, all right, if that's where he's making contact, that's his positioning with his upper body. So now we can really see the importance of the mobility in the upper back, the patience, the left pec. I always like to use this cue where the left pec is on top of the quad, which is on top of the foot. So it's like holding that position, okay, right there. And clearly Stona does a fantastic job there. Now, what's interesting that I wanted to point out here is his foot looks like it's down right here, okay? And then if we watch that, let's go back one frame right there. Okay, if we watch that foot, it's almost as though it slides a little, just a little bit. And then he totally rotates here. And what I would want to compare is how long is his right foot grounded compared to the Olympics. Like in this image right here, is his right foot down at the Olympics or is it up? That's something of interest that I have. He's got a longer left arm, he's not bent at that left elbow, just a little bit more open, not straight either, but he's not bent. He's not tucking that left elbow. A lot of people will say you have to tuck. An Alekna, Virgilius especially, has that tuck, but I don't think that this is something. I think I'm going to make this claim right here, is that the left elbow tuck would be related to how linear someone moves, and I think someone how long someone has in double support, or how long someone has, the more linear a thrower is, the more they tuck the left elbow. Okay, so that's where I'm going with this. Whereas Roje is has more angular momentum, and he has a shorter flight phase. I think a shorter flight phase means you'll rotate a little more, and this will happen here, so you don't tuck the elbow as much. I also want to point out here, okay, so he's got a bent right here. He's holding that left. I mean, the discus is out of his hand right there, right? And he's still coming forward. It's like boom, 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 boom. Look at that, still grounded. And his right, if we go right to the inside of his left foot, that just transfers really well forward. I actually think this might be Alex's discus. Alex Rose throws this discus too. Forward and around. So I think the biggest lessons from this throw are like, it's a simple movement. There's nothing crazy fancy. He comes around here, lengthens right there. Left foot, maybe it stops a little early compared to other people. He cuts that really well. He's got a short flight phase, very short flight phase. Gets a little bit of a high point right here. Has a delay in the left arm right here. Little delay in that left arm. Little delay. Left comes down absurdly fast. He has a really mobile upper back, and then he works the ground for a very long finish, which leads to him having a PR at the time and then becoming the Olympic champ. So if you guys want me to do a technical analysis of you or one of our coaches, Sam Weeks, who was at the Olympic trials, head over to throwsuniversity.com. You can pay for a technical analysis, or let us know down below what you think of Stona's PR before he won the Olympics. Until next time, peace.